no mainstream media is covering. Just within the last couple of hours, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has been pleading from the Senate floor that lawmakers do not kill his amendment requiring the U.S. government to tell you what they really know about UFOs. You have to wonder, why is there such a fight for lawmakers to kill this bill? And it's all developing right now. What do they not want you to know? Right now, we're really at the precipice. We'll know soon whether or not this bill survives or dies and whether the American people will get to learn the truth about all of this. Joining us now live from the Capitol, who's been following all of this, is NewsNation's Joe Khalil. Joe, tell us the latest.
Yeah, Brian, so in some ways, this is not that surprising, given NewsNation has actually been covering this since last week, that the Schumer amendment to the big defense bill, which, by the way, if passed, would be an unprecedented level of disclosure about these UAP or UFO files that the government has been classifying for years, that it was in trouble. We knew that, and we knew that the sort of push behind its opposition was a group of House Republicans, specifically those within the Intelligence Committee. That's what our sources had been saying. But what is surprising is that Leader Schumer brought this to the floor today and chose to make it one of the big subjects that he talked about, addressing the entire country and the Senate. And I want to, before we go any further, give everyone at home a chance to hear exactly what Senator Schumer had to say.
Unidentified aerial phenomena generate intense curiosity for many Americans, and the risk for confusion and misinformation is high if the government isn't willing to be transparent. The measure I championed with Senator Rounds would create a board, just like we did with the JFK assassination records, to work through the declassification of many government records on UAPs. This model's been a terrific success for decades. It should be used again with UAPs, but once again, House Republicans are ready to kill this bipartisan provision. Now we're going to get the NDAA done this year, just like we have for more than 6 decades. But there's still some more work to do.
So, Brian, there are every day hundreds of fights that go on behind the scenes here on Capitol Hill. The fact that Leader Schumer has now brought this to the forefront indicates that this is no longer going to be something that is being handled behind closed doors, but rather we're going to see maybe a more public posture and people who are working on this issue come forward more in the spotlight to sort of hash out their differences here.
Yeah, certainly very telling that he was talking about it today from the Senate floor. Came as somewhat of a surprise, like you mentioned, with everything going on in the world, that he brought that up today. Shows how intense the fight is getting. Yeah. What I can't figure out, Joe, is why is there this group of lawmakers fighting this so hard? I mean, it just makes you wonder if there really is something that they know about that they don't want the American people to see.
So that's a really good question. It's one that we've tried to get answers to. Last week, we spoke with the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, Mike Turner. He basically only gave us one response to one question and then sort of walked away, and that was the end of it. We've been trying to email and text because essentially what the amendment does, I mean, it's 64 pages or so, so it actually accomplishes a lot. But in a nutshell, it uses language we've never seen before. It actually says in the text of the bill that it would require disclosure for all records dealing with, quote, non-human intelligence, which is something that, you know, if you just on its surface, it sort of blows you away that that language is in this kind of text. So if that theoretically is just bogus and there's absolutely nothing there and it's crazy and conspiracy and all of that, you would assume that passing that bill wouldn't really have any harmful effects. It would accomplish nothing, right? So it does beg the question as to why there is such strong opposition to it and why so many people who may be leading that opposition won't answer the question of why they're opposed to it. We heard Chairman Turner tell us that he felt like the language was poorly written and he didn't think it was going to pass ultimately, but didn't elaborate as to what in the language was poorly written or specifics that he had issues with. So that continues to be a question. And again, I go back to the fact that Schumer is now talking about this publicly. Maybe some of those disagreements will happen out in the open and we can have a more transparent discussion about why people are opposing it, why they're not.
Yeah, let's hope so we can at least find out why some of these lawmakers continue to oppose this bill. Joe, thank you so much for the update from the Capitol. We know you'll stay on it there if anything develops. We've got a special programming announcement. UFO whistleblower David Grush will join Elizabeth Vargas on all of the developments since his bombshell claims this summer that you heard first right here on NewsNation. That is Monday, December 11th, 6 o'clock Eastern, here on this program.